Hi, and welcome everyone to episode 53. I'm almost losing count here on the amount of episodes we're making. So, nothing much has changed. I've been trying to learn myself Lua in the last few days. And, I do like the... I do like the language. Oh yeah, this is working. I was wondering if I didn't forget how this was working, but yeah, so it's, I guess, time to get started with some computercraft. And, well, that starts with building a computer. So let's see how that is. That's pretty easy. Huh. That's nice. So let's get, first let's get the required tools for that. And yeah, I've been debating how I wanted to do this, because I also want to do the solution for automatically supplying the crates to this system, and I wanted to get started on coding. So yeah, that's a bit difficult, but I've decided to split it up into. So we do a bit of coding today, and we get our requester system in place. Or we first need to make. Doesn't it know how to make glass panes? I just request one glass. Let's wait for that to happen. There we go. But yeah, I wanted to split up the project in two, and that way you don't have to see a lot of coding in the beginning. Just only coding. We're gonna just do a few things, and I think this would be a nice spot. Yeah, I think it is. Wow. And yeah, I'm used to writing PHP and JavaScript, so if you see some curly brackets in there sometimes, it's just because I'm used to different stuff. First we are going to do in this episode, at least, is making some sort of a selection screen. And I don't know. Let's first label this computer. Label set. What we're gonna call this compress. I think, yeah. It's the compressor PC. So let's also edit the program compress. And I want to have two computers, so one over here and one over on this side, so we don't have to run bundled cabling all over the place. That's gonna save us a bit of cable, and we're just gonna do it wireless. I don't know, should we put it one over? Over here. Might be nice, just to compress stuff. Oops, and let's edit the compress program. Now I want this to be some sort of a database, so it knows what items it can compress. So I'm gonna create the selected item. I think selected item. Maybe do it like S item. Selected item might be nice. And yeah, let's create an array of items which you can compress. It isn't called a array in here. It's called a table, which I'm not really used to, but it does work like an array in JavaScript or PHP. It's just a list of items. So let's start, for example, now we don't have copper in the system, so let's start with copper. We've got copper. We're gonna make that a list as well. and we want to know from copper which is the ID. I'll come to this later, and we want to know the name of this, so that's the proper name, which will show on screen. So that's copper, and I think that's it. So that's all you need to know. Maybe we want to know which wire we want to pulse later on. So yeah, let's say the wire, or maybe the color. So this is going to be white, because that's one. And if we do have an IO expander, let's see, shall we make an IO expander variable as well? Let's just do it for now, like so. IO equals 1. And yeah, I really like to space out my equal signs, so it's a nice list. Okay, and then close this table off and close the final table off. Yeah, that looks nice. And let's add tin as well, so we have something to work with. So this is going to be tin. It's going to be a table. It's going to have an ID, and the IDs are always going to be just incremented by 1. And the proper name is going to be tin. And the color is going to be orange is the second one, so let's just make it orange. And oops. Maybe we just need to go back in there to change that up a bit, but okay, for now this is going to be fine. And the IO is going to be 1 as well, so it's going to be on the same IO expander. So now we have our item set, and we're going to write our first function. And I want to be able to print those arrays out. Normally if you do just, let me show you. So for example, the local S item, the selected item is going to be something like copper, if I know how to type. And let's do a clear screen, so term.clear, I think it's called. Am I doing any no, I don't see any semicolons, which I'm used to do, but that's not necessary. So we're gonna set the cursor position to the cursor plus 1,1. So it's on the top left corner. And for example, we do a print selected item. Okay, now save and then exit, and let's run compress. And I did something wrong on line 16. Expected to close at line 2. Okay, so we made a little mistake there. So edit compress line 16. I forgot to close 10. Not sure why. And don't forget to add the comma. Oh, that's already there. No, it's not. Oh, it's a bit of a funky. Oh, it seems like an exclamation mark, but it's a bit of a funky editor. And let's run compress again. Now, as you can see, it just writes down copper, just like what the selected item is. If you try to do that with a table, so that's the items, I guess. And don't forget to save first. It's a bit difficult. Items. So save and exit. And if we run it now, it's just gonna give you the reference to the table, which is no good. So I'm gonna write our first function, and it's just short of print, which I normally also do in PHP, just to print out arrays for easy use. And it's gonna be a function, no space there, and it's gonna get a table as a parameter. Doesn't need any curly brackets, don't forget that. And we're gonna print out the table. Now that's going to be a for loop with a key and a value in the pairs, which is a built-in function from the table. And for every key and value, it's going to do the following. If the type of the value, color coding would be nice. If the type of the value would be a table, so we know we are dealing with a table, then it's gonna call itself so it's gonna print out the value. So this way, if the value is another table like we've got up there with the, for example, it's a table items, and then you got tin, which is also a table, so we need to call the same function again. And otherwise we can just print the, and just to be safe, I'm gonna call toString, so it's gonna convert it to a string, the key, and then we're gonna concatenate the string with colon, and we're gonna add the same thing for the value. Oh man, this is unreadable almost. I'm so used to color codes and color coding your code, and not so nice, but okay. So this is what's gonna print out otherwise. And don't forget to end the for loop. And I don't, yeah, I think I need another space there. I just like to line it out all pretty nicely so it's easy to read. And just end, oops, the function. So if we're gonna do the PR function of items, it's gonna use the function to print out the table. So let's run compress, and as you can see, it's just printing out the table. And oh yeah, what would be nice is if we change the function, if it is a table, then it's gonna call itself, but we do want to know what the name is. So if we just do write, which is the same as print, only it doesn't add a new line character at the end. So if we're gonna write the key, which in this case would be tin or copper, and we're gonna concatenate that with the same way we did the there you go. Attempt to concatenate a string. So I made a boo-boo there, line 20, which is of course this write to string, the key. Okay, yeah, just end it here, the writes, and then do the PR function, because the function isn't returning anything. So I hope you all can follow, because it's gonna get quite complex. But as you can see, it's now also printing out the rest of the oh, what we can do, let's do it a bit nicer, so we know. So we're gonna do a print anyhow, and let's print the curly brackets so we know we're dealing with a table over here. And let's print the closing curly brackets. Nope, I didn't want to. Yeah, that's, so if we run it now, you've got a nice view of the table. And this is just for debugging purposes. that's only the first thing we've got going here. Yeah, so table. Lua doesn't have a lot of built-in functions, so we're going to need to make a lot of them. And what I always want to know is how many items are there in an array, or table in this case. So I'm going to make a function count. So this is also going to take a table. And don't forget to empty function, and we're just going to count the items in a in the table. So local count, and let's start by making it 0, of course, because the count is default 0. So 4. And what I've seen, if you don't want to use a variable, you're just gonna use underscore. So 4 underscore in pairs, pairs t, so the table. You're gonna do the following, and that's just gonna be count equals count plus 1, not 2, 1. And that's all there is to it. So end the for loop, and we just need to return the count variable. So if we want to know, I'm just going to use a print here. Print. Nope. Print. Wow. This is a odd editor. I'm just trying to get used to the use of it, but not really handy. So if we do a count of the items, it's gonna count how many items are there. So save and exit, run, compress, and unexpected symbol on line 31. So just drop down to line 31, and I've written 2 times in, is a bit of a mistake. So it's gonna tell you there's 2 items in there. Now that's the easy one. I'm also gonna do a clear function. So, and that's just gonna be something like this. It's pretty easy. We're just gonna do a term.clear. And we're gonna do term.set cursor dot pass, and that's about it. So now we can just do remove this and remove this, and just do a clear. I want to add in a function for clearing a line. This is just basic stuff. It's not in there by default. Local x and local y, which equals term.get cursor pass. So this is gonna return the cursor position and store the x and y, and then you're gonna call the line line, and we're gonna set the first one is gonna be the x value, and the y value is going to be used from here. So it's gonna clear the line and return the position to the beginning of that line, so you know you're always back to the beginning. And this is gonna be really handy later on. Okay, let me see what's gonna be the next thing to do. I want to be able to select an item, so let's see. Yeah, let's just make the function selector. Let's first see if we didn't make any mistakes. So compress, attempt to index numbers 37. Wow, line 37. Oh wow, just added a dot for no reason. See, you still make mistakes. Bad arguments, expected got nil, lines 37. Term dot set cursor pass. Oh, didn't do any variables in there. That's wow. Basic mistakes. Okay, so program still running, so we can continue. Okay, so let's add the select a item. So this is gonna select an item from the array which we just created with all the items in there, and it's gonna return the item. So how do I want to set this up? Select item equals a function, and it's gonna take of course a table, so that's gonna be the t, and it's also gonna take a index, so we're gonna use I, which is pretty default in programming to do. And one space, wow. I'll later clean this up in Notepad++, which is a lot easier to do. Okay, so it's gonna get a table. We need to have the selected item, of course, and we're just gonna make it nil for now, so we don't have any selected item when we start out, which is pretty easy. And yeah, we're just gonna walk through the table like we did in all the previous examples. So that's going to be a key on the value in pairs. Oops, pairs. And table. So we're going to walk through it. And should I write this one line? Yeah, well, just do it like this to make it a bit easier to read. And if to number, we gotta make sure it's a number, because you never know, equals to number. And then this is gonna be the crazy part. I'm gonna write this out and explain it to you. Then this means that it's the selected item. Don't forget to end, don't forget to end. And if it is the selected item, we can break out of there. So oh yeah, that's one funky bit we need to do. If the no. So if the selected item doesn't equal, that's a bit of a strange thing to do, doesn't equal nil. Did I make it nil over here with double L? Wow. That's not how it's supposed to be. Then we can return as item. Otherwise it's gonna be nil, and to suppress any errors, I'm just gonna do it like this, and yeah, that's I think the best way to do it. Oh, and don't forget to end off the if and the function. Now to walk through this, what it's gonna do, it's gonna get the table with all the items in there. It's gonna create a variable which is default 0 or nil, and we're gonna walk through the table. So every time it's gonna compare the number y, so that's the requested index. So for example, we say select item number 2. It's gonna check and it's gonna find out that I is 2. and the ID of the value, remember it's the list of items, so it's gonna take the item, for example in this case it's gonna be tin, so it's gonna take the item tin, it's gonna take the how do you call this, a parameter. It's gonna take the parameter ID and check the value of that, convert it to a number and compare it to I2. So in the first case it's gonna be copper, which is 1. It's gonna compare 1 to 2, it's not equal, so it's gonna loop again. And then it's gonna be 2, and the ID of copper is gonna be 2, so it's gonna set the current item, the selected item, to the selected item, or to copper, copper or tin? No, tin in this case. And it's gonna break out of the loop, so we're gonna end up over here, and it's gonna check if it's nil. In this case it isn't, so it's gonna return the selected item. I've got an extra, oh right, I already wrote that down, so we can remove that. So if we want to know, and remember, this is how you comment out something. So for example, if we want to select an item, and we're gonna say select item, and we're gonna give it the items, and we want to select number 2, and we're gonna print out the selected item. And yeah, let's see what it does. If it's working, it's gonna tell you it's selected tin, so you only keep one item. Now this is gonna come in handy because we're gonna walk through our items. So this has been all just basic stuff, and you see that this lots of times in normal programming. So I'm gonna comment this out. If you want to do a block of comments, just add the what is it? The square brackets. And if you want to stop it, you're just gonna do it like this, and this ain't gonna work, right? No. We have to add it like here, and so it won't do anything at the moment, as you can tell. Oh, and you have to go further back. Okay, so next part, let's continue writing this. Okay, here we go. First I want to have a way to write out a line. So I'm gonna call that show selected item. Just I think that's, yeah. So that's gonna be a function. It's gonna take a item. Just call it item for now. And it's all it's gonna do is just write down a line of code. So it's gonna write, in this case, please select, and we're gonna concatenate that with a, I think that's, yeah, that's gonna be nice. And we're gonna concatenate that with, yeah, let's add the item ID as well. That might be nice to view, so we know which one we've selected. And we're gonna do it like this with, so the item, wow, they don't want to, wow, strange editor. So concatenate it with the item ID, and can we just place, so please select, nope, not there. It's gonna pass in the item ID. Maybe that's easier to read. Well, I do hope so. And so let's add, of course, the closing one, so we can see, add a space, and then we're gonna just add the, oops, don't forget this. And then we're gonna add the item. It's got a proper name, so let's use that as well. The item name, and we're just gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna show you what's, yeah, what this is gonna look like, and close off the write function. Yeah, now you see what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna remove this comment, make this a normal comment again. already pretty long in the episode and only writing code. Man, this is going. So it's gonna select an item, and this time I'm not gonna print it out, but I'm gonna say show selected item, and we're gonna send it that item. I think, yeah, something like this. So if we do compress now, as you can see, it's now pasting in the please select, and right after that it's gonna give me the console again. So that's why you get a second what is it, greater than sign. But yeah, that's basically what show selected item is. And okay, now we're going into the list. Show list. This is gonna be one of the more difficult functions. So it's gonna take a list of items, and it's gonna make a list of that to show. And local y equals 1. So this is the index, and the local the currently selected item is gonna be the function we wrote to select the item. So select item, we're gonna send it the items, and we're gonna select y, as you can see. So at this moment the first one of the items is being selected, and we're gonna clear the line. I think, yeah, clear the line like we did in our tests. Clear line, that's a function we wrote as well, and we're gonna show the selected item, and that's gonna be the currently selected item, and we're gonna give the index. Doesn't need a index, right? That's only for select item. Stupid, but okay. Now we need to wait for user input. So I'm going to show you a bit of this while true do. So this is always going to be true. So if you don't break out of this, it's going to run forever. And I'm going to do a local e, which is the event, and the parameter equals os.pool events. You can find this on the ComputerCraft wiki. If you look this up, the pool event is just gonna check for a event. So that can be a key press, a redstone signal, or all kinds of stuff. And you can specify what you're listening for, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna write a bunch of if statements to check what's going on. But let me show you. If e, which is the event, equals to char, that means a character has been written, and the parameter, which is in this case the which key has been pressed, is equal to q, then it's gonna break out. So this way you can break out of the loop, and we're gonna end. So this is all it's gonna do. So if we don't have to do this, I guess, at the moment. We're just gonna call it the show list. So if we comment out this, and we're just gonna tell it show list with the items, of course. Save that and exit. It didn't do it. Why didn't it looped? Show list is gonna clear the line, show the selected items. Could it be because I returned nil? Let me check this out. If e, nope. So show list should be Should be working. Show list, yeah. Show list equals function item. Did it give a error? I don't get it. It should be in a loop. Expected 77. Ooh. Did I remove that? Could be. Oh yeah, there we go. As you can see, it's now waiting for input. We're not getting any input, and I can type anything, press some keys, and it doesn't do anything. But as soon as I press Q, it's gonna break out of the loop and return my do this. What you can also do if it's, let me show you. I don't know what went wrong there, but maybe it was expecting something. So what we also can do is just see if E equals char. You can do a else if E is a char. So that means a character has been pressed, then print the parameter, which is the key which we have pressed. Yeah, that should be it. Save, exit, compress. So any key I press now, it's being printed out, as you can see. So it's just hanging there in the loop, waiting for me to press any key. But as soon as I press Q, it's gonna exit out. So that's a pretty nice function to move your keys. But I actually don't want to do this. So let's remove this. I want to check if the event equals a key event. So if it's a key event, that means a key has been pressed, and that can be any key. So it's not a character, it can be any key, and that's what I actually want to do. So save, hang on. Oh man, stupid editor. That's one and too many because I removed this one over here. Okay. So if it's a key, you can you don't get a character key, you get a key code, which means I'm going to show you. Print the parameter again, which is going to be the key code in this case. Print P and save. So if I press a key now, this is the letter A, so that's key 30. This is the letter S, 31. The letter D, 32. But watch this. If I press the up arrow, that's 200. Down arrow equals 208. Left arrow 203, and right arrow 205. Now those are the keys I want to be using. And if I press the Q, it's gonna break out of the loop, which is character 16, as you can see. Funny. But okay, so that's what I'm going to use here. Now I'm gonna, man, that zombie is annoying. So this is what I'm going to check for. Now this is going to be a lot of statements. So if the parameter, only if the parameter equals 200, or the parameter equals 203, or the parameter equals 205, or parameter equals 208. So those are the 4 arrow keys I've got, as you can see. So what it's gonna do then, and this loop, oops, and this loop, nope. Yeah. It's gonna check which key has been pressed, and let me show you. So if P equals 200, and I've been looking this up on forehands the same way I did to print out the keys. So I found out 200 is the up arrow. So if it's the up arrow, wow, wow, what a crazy editor it is. Then I want to have the I equals I minus 1. So it's going to decrease the I with 1. So this is just up arrow. Just add a comment. Else, if P equals 203, which means the, ooh, don't forget to close it. This is the left arrow. I also want to decrease the I minus 1. Left arrow. And let's space them out evenly so you see a bit better. Now we've got the left arrow. What we do now, else if. Do I need to add a end in there? Oh no, I don't. Just. So we're going to check for 205 if P equals 205. Then I equals I plus 1, so it's going to increase. And this is the right arrow, 205. And last but not least, we have the down arrow, of course, else if. I'm so used to different programs or languages. 208. Then I equals I plus 1 as well. And then this is the down arrow. And one last key which I didn't show you yet. Ooh, and I didn't add in the mix up there, so we need to add that. But P equals 28. I had to look at my notes about this, but that means that the enter key has been pressed. So once the enter key has been pressed, I want to break out of the loop. Just the same as Q, but I want to break out of the loop. And that's the entire if statement. Wow. Did I already end that? Nope. Okay. So don't forget to add or P equals 28. I hope you can follow this, but it's kind of a big loop. But it's gonna check for a key, and it's gonna check if the key has been up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, right arrow, or the enter key, or if the character has been Q, and it's gonna break then. And it's just gonna increment or decrement I with 1 once you press an arrow. And if you don't press an arrow, it's just gonna wait for while to be false or while true. So it's gonna just go back in the loop and just keeps waiting for the proper key press. Yeah, this has been a lot of statements. So if one of the keys has been pressed, I want to change the hang on. I want to be in the OR loop. And this is the OR loop. So normally you see something like this in code and if statement. But I don't find it really useful in such a messy programming tool. So if one of the keys has been pressed, we need to check the I actually. So we're gonna check if the I isn't bigger than the amount of items we have. Because if that's the case, you're gonna get some errors, so we don't want to have that. And to prevent that, we're gonna set the I to count items. So if we got 2 and you press the right or down arrow, it's gonna go to 3, but we don't have 3 items, so over here it's gonna check if it's 3. And if it's the case, if it's larger than 2, so it's gonna set it back to 2, so you always keep the last one selected. And else, if we also got to check the other side, so if y is smaller or equal to 1, you don't need to, but you can check for smaller than 1, because we can't select 0, we have to be checking this, that you can't go below 0 or below 1 even, because first item equals 1, so I'm just gonna set I to 1. Ooh, man, oh man. And yeah, then we just need to print out what you have selected. So here we go, clear line. As you remember, it's gonna clear the line where we currently on, and we're gonna say S item, so the selected item equals select item, and we're gonna give it the items table and the currently selected item, which we did with the arrow keys. Oh, and what we can always do is give a error code if you did something else. So if the key hasn't been one of the arrow keys, we're gonna give an error message to the user. That would be nice. Oh man, this is difficult to see. Where does this? I need to be on this line, so let's find the correct end, and we're gonna do else. No need to do a statement, we're just gonna write out a line, and we're gonna just write something like, please use the arrows. Don't you think that's nice? And oh, and don't forget to clear the line, of course. Clear the line, and there's the end of the statement. And all we need to do now is show selected item as item. And yeah, we don't need the Y over here. We're just gonna show it the selected item. Right, show selected item doesn't have a Y. It's just printing out the line. Yeah, that's what it's gonna do. And finally, just before we close off the loop, we're gonna clear the line. And this is really not visible anymore. And we're gonna return the selected item, because you need to select an item. So if we select an item, you do it by pressing the Enter key. So at the moment you're looking at, for example, you've selected tin, I equals to 2, and you press Enter, it's gonna break out of here. So it's gonna go all the way over to here, and it's gonna clear the line and return the item. So once we're done, you can do something like print you have selected, and we're gonna just do as item name. Man, there's a lot of code to write. So that's gonna tell you which item you have selected. Now let's hope we didn't make any errors, and let's show you. So if I press the right arrow, I'm going to tin. If I press the left arrow, I'm going to copper. And up and down, down is going to tin and copper as well. So as you can see, we've got a nice selection menu, and I can't press any more up and down than I've got at the moment. And if I press Enter, it's gonna say you have selected tin. Now I didn't concatenate this very nice, but As you can see, that's working pretty nice, and I'm really pleased with that. Let's do another one real quick. I'm just gonna paste in my quantities. Okay, I just went ahead and just typed this out. So the local variable quantity, because it's gonna take too long. It's gonna take bloody long to write this all down. But as you can see, I decided to do the quantity like this. So it's got an ID and it's got a proper name like I'm used to, and it's item, and the amount of an item is 1, as you know, and the crate, it's gonna be amount of 9, and a stack is gonna be 72, and normally it's 64, but 64 you can't divide by 9, so I just did 8 times 9, which is 72, and that way you can select the amount you want to compress. Now if we go down, I've changed it up a tiny bit what it's gonna write out, but so this is what we had before. It's gonna, ooh, that's a double one, I don't want it there, and we don't need this anymore, so let's get it out. I'm gonna select the item, show items, and I'm gonna print out so you want, and then the item name, and then I'm gonna select the quantity. So select from the quantity list, and that's gonna be as quantity, and I'm gonna tell afterwards, and you want, and let's add a bit more text, and you want, so the amount to be compressed. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So let's see, let's run it. So it's gonna, please select what you want. I want copper, tin. Let's do tin. So you want tin, please select. How many do you want? A stack. And you want 72 to be compressed. So now we can make a selection, and if we edit compress, I can just easily add, for example, coal. Don't forget add a comma there, and coal ID equals 3, and the name, or the pretty name, is gonna be coal. The color is gonna be, I don't know what the next color is, magenta? I think so, I don't know for sure. Oops, and I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that. Maybe we need to change it up to make it a string with quotes. I don't know yet, but the IO is gonna be the same as otherwise, and yeah, let's add it like this. And we're gonna save it, exit it out, and we're gonna run compress again. And as you can see now, I can just walk through it and toggle it. And so now we can select the coal and select the crate. So the last question is gonna be how many, and then we're gonna use the proper name, I guess, and how many stacks do you want to compress. And that's just going to be a number, and the number you can increase with your arrow keys, and if you press the right key it's going to be increasing to with 10 at a time, so you can just go 10 at a time up. So if you say a stack and you say I want 10 stacks to be compressed, it's gonna do 10 stacks. Pretty nice, I like it. Maybe we can even pretty it up, but yeah, that's all the coding I'm gonna do. Wow, was a bit loud for today. I think it's already a pretty long episode. Wow. But I want to do something about the system here, and yeah, that's gonna be a bit of an odd one. I've been struggling with it, really struggling with it to get it to work, and I found a solution, and I'm gonna show it to you guys. So I'm gonna prepare it, set it up, and explain it, hopefully. And yeah, so I'll be right back once the system is in place, and I think you'll be amazed by the complexity, maybe simplicity, but the oddness of the entire thing. Although I'm going to have to move this one over because we need the space over here, I think. But we'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna set it up and yeah, be right back. Okay, you ready for this? For my funky solution? Let me show you. Here we go. Wow, that's a mess. Yeah, I know. So I moved the copper one over, so I could connect or disconnect this connection. I've added transposers here, 4 of them, and obsidian tubes. And on the back are the supplier pipes. Let me get my wrench. And see, it's got 12 to keep stocked, just in a chest 12, and that's just a random number, I don't know. And as you can see, if we want to continue, we'll have to move this. But that's not really a big issue, because I think I've got plenty of room now. I only need to get my honey maybe more over that direction. But okay, well, I'll do that off camera. Now, how this system works, BuildCraft pipes are a bit like the red power pipes, that it chooses the closest inventory it can go to. So these all got the crate item requested. So once a crate is being fired from a transposer in here, it's gonna go to the nearest inventory it can go to. So it's gonna go right into this one because that's the closest one. And same goes for over this one. If I would shoot just from one chest, so over here, I never would be able to get it over in this maybe carpenter. And this chest is just the default item sink, or not only the default item sink, it's got the default item sinks for crates, so that's for the entire system, my entire logistics system. It's got the supplier pipe, so it's keeping 64 crates stocked, and on the bottom of this is, let me just show you, is another provider module. So this is just providing the crates for this system, so it's not connecting to my logistics system. Now the reason I did disconnect this, because if we need more crates, this carpenter is going to create more crates and it's gonna send them right to here, which is nice and fine, but let's say I only need 2 more. It's gonna send 2 and it's gonna have 22 left over. It's gonna search for the nearest inventory it can put the crates, and it would go in one of these carpenters, whichever one is closest. So that's not something you want, so I disconnected it here, made this the default route, so all access crates will return here because that's the closest inventory. And this pipe is connecting all the way to this corner, which is a long way to send items to, so it's not gonna choose that as a valid inventory. And then I've cleared out the entire thing down below here. I moved my water source a bit more to the side so I had some space to run my wires. And I think I'm not able... Oh yeah, that's possible, so let's do this. I want it nice and clean. And 1 over. Or 1 over. That's a bit better to look at. Just prettying up, but okay, let's close this further. Wow. Too many logistics pipes, I guess. The system is lagging like wow, crazy. Okay, yeah, so I've removed this one, and here's the other system. And you won't be able to see really clearly, but the last one is most clear. Every time you press the button and request something to be compressed, it's gonna send a signal over here to the transposer, and that one is just gonna send out 1 crate, and putting it in the right carpenter. So for every request we're gonna get 1 crate. And yeah, that's perfect. So we've got 1 crate in the system. I'm gonna request 1 copper to be sent. And as you can see, we've got 2 crates now. Let's create another copper. And this way it's just sending enough crates for every delivery we've got. So 1. And yeah, I want to yeah, it's a bit odd solution, and it's definitely overcomplicated, but I'm gonna leave the torches here and just close it off here and clean up my system. But I just wanted to work properly without supplying the crates manually. So yeah, there you have it. That's my solution. Hope you all liked it. I'm gonna clean up this room, maybe add some more so we can or so we have something to select when we got the computers installed and ready to go. I'm gonna put the code for the for what we've got now. I'm gonna put that on pastebin. So if we do the edit compress, I'm gonna put this on the internet on pastebin, and I will leave it as a comment below our system. You can see it's a lot of code. It's gonna be fun to play with later on if we want to compress stuff. But yeah, that's it for now. It's been a pretty long episode with a lot of coding. For everyone who didn't like it, the coding, please leave a comment, and I'll see what I can do about it. But there were some requests to do the code on video, so and I don't mind doing it. So yeah, for now I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in episode 54. Man, it's gonna be a long one, long season. And yeah, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Just the usual stuff. And see you in the next episode. So till then, bye bye.